Hi, this project is for teachers looking for a large art project to do with the entire school that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. How about 50 feet of fabric for banners, backdrops, wall displays, curtains, silk scarf painting? This goes on and on. We did 50 feet for under $200 in less than 5 hours, but this project could also stretch out over several days. So let me show you how our fabric banner was done. Join me. Wide range of fabric and textile paints in our store, many of them by Jacquard Art Products. The product we used for our banners was Dynaflow. This is a liquid color for fabric. I'm going to show you how it pours out. Very fluid-like. Intense colors. They're pigmented, not going to fade too quickly. You heat set them with an iron or in your clothes dryer. What I love about them most is their transparency. So when the light comes through your fabric, it glows. It also is thin enough to have even the most delicate see-through fabric and all of the texture on the fabric to come through the color. So you can buy more interesting fabrics. Another great part is once it's dry, it leaves no tactile feel on the fabric. So very wearable for silk scarves or other fabrics or quilting. Anything you want to be very touchable, Dynaflow is the perfect paint for that. Here we have 5 colors that we used for our fabric. We chose 8-ounce containers, but honestly we hardly used half of each color, so I have lots of the color left over. So here we have sun yellow, hot fuchsia, magenta, midnight, and turquoise. All of these colors mixed beautiful jewel tone colors, and similar to what you see on the fabric beside me. So the midnight gave us our rich tones, and the hot fuchsia and the yellow made the bright oranges, really a glowing color combination. When we were dispensing the paint, we just used plastic cups. That way people could dip and reach over the fabric easily. It prevented a lot of spills. You know, if you're trying to carry a pallet or something, it's a little bit awkward. So having the little things in jars was good. Dynaflow also comes in markers, so you can get fat bingo daubers and medium and fine markers. So when the fabric is dry, when it's full of color, people can go back in and draw in details or add their name or add poetry and words. Other tools, of course, a spritzer bottle is handy, sponges are good, and then good brushes. You need a sponge brush. This is for large areas and wetting. Doesn't give you a lot of control, so an inexpensive synthetic brush will give you your small marks and your dry brushes. And then something in a natural hair, either a squirrel hair or a synthetic squirrel. We chose the Neptune brushes by Princeton for ours, although Da Vinci's Silk Star is beautiful too. Brushes that hold a lot of water and can let it flow across the fabric will make your painting seem effortless. Beginners may find it a little difficult because it is so flowing like watercolor. I'm going to show you 8 techniques that we used in our banner project. to watch paint flow across the fabric surface in all its serendipitous little paint mixes and blends. It's one of my favorite parts of textile painting. You'll notice that I did suspend my fabric on a frame so it stayed off the surface. If it was touching the table or the plastic tablecloth, then the paint would fall through, pool on the table, and travel wherever it wanted to. Next thing you know, the table's painting, not you. So it is important, just with push pins tight enough to make a little finger trampoline, or a little, tight as a drum, is good enough. I let the paint get quite dry before I take a hairdryer to it. If you blow dry too soon, the air from the hairdryer can push your paint and start sending it in a different direction. So I really let it dry and set as long as possible. So now that it's dry again, you can see what I was talking about with the transparency that you can get with Dynaflow. Also, the little metallic threads in this fabric you can see really clearly. It's not gooped up with heavy acrylic. It's open. Just going to do a little grid. You can see it's still quite controllable paint on paint. It's not going to go anywhere as long as my brush is not too wet. There we go. Can add a bit of a geometric background to contrast to my organic shaped leaf. So as long as you keep it quite dry, it's going to stay where you put it. And my experience is a painted surface, once it's dry, will contain color more than the open fabric did. So you have quite a bit of control with just one layer of paint.
Watch how the dry pink will influence the wet yellow being placed over top of it. Do you see that glowing orange? This is called a glazing technique. When we do dark green on yellow, the yellow is going to lighten and warm the green, and you can see the resulting color. It's important to be watchful for opportunities to let that underpainting show through. Here we're taking Midnight and we're painting it over white. And the dry brush effect, maybe it looks a little bit like we've unfinished the painting. We're going to cover it up. But take that same Midnight and float it over blue. And now when the brush dries out a little bit, we get that broken effect. And that purple is going to glow through. Oh gosh, let's keep that because that's much more interesting. Layering is a technique using many glazes. Watch how we are deepening the background while highlighting the leaves to bring them forward by using many different layers of glazes.
Expose your fabric to bright sunlight. The brighter the sun and the faster it dries, the more exciting the result. When the fabric's dry and you lift away your stencil, you see what was ever in shadow went white. Isn't that amazing? I used store-bought samples, but you could do hand-cut paper, found objects like feathers and coins and paper clips and rice. All of those will work. Anything that provides a shadow will give you a great technique. The closer it is to the surface, you're going to get a crisp area. If it's off the surface a little bit like a shadow, you're going to get a softer transition from the light to dark. So have fun with that technique. I love when one paint can do so many things. The trick we had for painting a really large piece is our wooden frame was 4 foot by 8 foot, so we had a large working area. That provided a big, almost a table area for many artists to gather around and paint at the same time. So here's the basic setup. You take a wood frame and you attach your fabric to it. Attach it nice and tight. It is a two-person job for something this size. So you pin it here, stretch it, pin it across, stretch the ends, pin it across, and then work your way to the edges. So it's best to keep it well suspended above the fabric. Do your painting. It also makes the painting dry faster. This one here is only 3 feet by 4 feet, a little bit more manageable. And you can still do a large area, let it dry, and then pull it across, pin it down again, let it dry. At this end, you're collecting your painted fabric in a nice basket. So the dry fabric is gathering there, and your unpainted fabric is coming in from the other end. So you just keep transferring the art across as you do it, and 50 feet will be done in no time. So there you have it, 8 different ways of using Dynaflow on fabric. If you want to know where to get these materials, well, here's a hint, PaintSpot. We stock all the materials shown in these videos. I also want to point out you can print out instructions for either the solar printing or the silk painting. You can just go to our website, paintspot.ca, click on the how-to section, and there's advice library and project ideas in PDF form you can print when you want. We hope to see you soon. If you want to know more about, say, the painting behind me and how we got those beautiful outlines, that's called Resist. And resist on fabrics, that's a whole other topic. So please subscribe to the little button on the bottom of this video and stay tuned to more ideas we have straight from the Paint Spot.